Why are you still checking your phone for a notification that you already know isn't there? You tell yourself you're waiting for an explanation, but what you're actually doing is feeding a ghost with your own dignity. You aren't suffering because they left, you are suffering because you've turned your presence into a cheap commodity that no one feels the need to pay for anymore. Most people believe that love is built on consistency and being there. They are wrong. Human desire is not a product of presence, it is a byproduct of loss. When you chase, you are confirming to the other person that their world is stable and your world is small. You are providing them with the ultimate psychological safety net, the knowledge that they can disrespect you, ignore you, or abandon you, and you will still be exactly where they left you. In the next few minutes, we are going to dismantle the mechanics of the chase. I'm going to show you why your silence is more violent than your words, and how pulling back doesn't just protect your ego, it fundamentally reboots the other person's perception of your value. If you're ready to stop being a footnote in someone else's story and start regaining control over your own identity, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. This is the psychology of power that they don't want you to understand. 1. The architecture of the vacuum, silence as an aggressor. When you stop reaching out, you aren't just being quiet. You are creating a vacuum. Human nature abhors a vacuum, it demands to be filled. For weeks or months, you have been the background noise of their life, a predictable, rhythmic hum of validation. By cutting that cord instantly, you create a deafening silence that forces them to hear their own thoughts for the first time. Imagine the scene: they wake up, check their phone, and for the first time in forever, your name isn't on the screen. There is no "good morning," no "how are you," no desperate attempt to fix things. At first, they feel a sense of relief, a false sense of freedom. They think they've finally shaken off the pressure. But that relief is a trap. It is the calm before the psychological storm. As the hours turn into days, that relief morphs into confusion. They start to wonder if their phone is broken. They check their connection. They look at your social media profiles. Why? Because you broke the script. You were supposed to be the one who stayed. You were the safe variable in their equation. By removing yourself, you've introduced an unknown variable, and nothing triggers human anxiety faster than the unknown. The ego requires a mirror to exist. For a long time, you were that mirror. You reflected back to them how desirable, powerful, or important they were. Now, you've taken the mirror away. They are left standing in a dark room, staring at nothing. This is where the internal dialogue begins. Did they move on? Did I lose my touch? Was I not as important as I thought? Your absence is now doing the work that your presence never could. It is forcing them to evaluate your worth through the lens of scarcity. In economics, value is determined by supply and demand. By making your supply zero, you have spiked the demand. You are no longer the person who was too much, you are the person who is suddenly not there at all. This isn't about playing games. It's about respecting the laws of human physics. If you push against a wall, the wall stays put. If you stop pushing and walk away, the wall no longer has a purpose. You are withdrawing the energy that was sustaining their indifference. You are making them work for the validation you used to give away for free. By the end of the first week of true silence, the power dynamic has already shifted. They are the ones wondering what you are doing. They are the ones imagining scenarios where you are happy without them. You have successfully moved from being the hunter to being the mystery. And mystery is the fundamental ingredient of obsession. 2. The death of predictability, breaking the dopamine loop. Predictability is the graveyard of attraction. When someone knows exactly how you will react, that you'll cry, that you'll beg, that you'll send a long paragraph explaining your feelings, they lose all incentive to respect you. You have become a solved puzzle. And once a puzzle is solved, it gets put back in the box and forgotten. Think about the last time you sent a message and were left on read. Your heart sank, your stomach turned, and you likely followed up with another message or a checked-in vibe. In that moment, you provided them with a dopamine hit of pure ego. They saw your name, felt the rush of being wanted, and then chose to ignore you because they knew they could. When you suddenly stop, you break their dopamine loop. They are addicted to the feeling of you wanting them. It's a drug. When the dealer stops showing up, the addict starts to panic. They aren't panicking because they love you, they are panicking because their source of external validation has vanished. They need to know they still have it. This is the moment they start orbiting. They might watch your Instagram stories within minutes of you posting. They might like an old photo. They might send a breadcrumb, a low-effort message like, "Hey, saw this and thought of you." These aren't signs of love. These are tests. They are poking the cage to see if the animal is still inside. If you react, if you jump at the first sign of attention, you confirm that you were just hiding, not leaving. You prove that the cage door is still locked from the inside. But if you remain indifferent, if you view their breadcrumbs as the insults they actually are, you force them to face a terrifying reality: you might actually be gone. Otto Rank spoke about the will to separate. Most people are terrified of being truly separate individuals, so they cling to others to feel whole. By breaking the predictability of your attachment, you are asserting your individual will. You are saying, "I am a complete entity without your acknowledgement." This is inherently intimidating to someone who relies on your pursuit to feel superior. Stop being the person who is always available. Stop being the one who replies in 3 seconds. When you become unpredictable, you become dangerous to their ego. And in the world of human relationships, the person who is perceived as dangerous or unobtainable is the one who is pursued. 3. The cost of convenience: withdrawing the safety net. You have likely made yourself too convenient. You were the person they could call when they were bored, the person they could vent to when their life was falling apart, and the person they could ignore when things were going well. You weren't a partner, you were an emotional utility. People don't value utilities until the power goes out. You don't think about the electricity until you're sitting in the dark. By doing nothing, you are turning off the power. You are withdrawing the emotional labor you've been performing for free. Let them feel the cold. Let them experience the world without your support, your advice, and your warmth. We often fear that if we stop helping or being there, the other person will realize they don't need us. The opposite is usually true. They realize they've been using you as a crutch to avoid dealing with their own inadequacies. Without you there to cushion the blow of their life, they start to feel the full weight of their own choices. Consider the friend zone or the situationship. Both are structures built on your willingness to provide the benefits of a relationship without the commitment. You are subsidizing their lifestyle. When you stop, you are essentially saying, the free trial has ended. If they want access to your energy, they have to pay the price of commitment and respect. The moment you stop being convenient, you become a problem to be solved. They have to decide if they actually value you, or if they just valued what you did for them. If it's the latter, they disappear, and you've saved yourself years of wasted life. If it's the former, they will start to feel a deep sense of lack that only you can fill. This isn't about being mean, it's about being expensive. High-value individuals don't allow their time and emotional energy to be treated like a bargain bin item. If they want you, they must reach for you. If you are always reaching for them, they never have to move a muscle. Stop moving. Let the distance between you stay wide until they decide to cross it. 4. The mirror effect, projecting the loss. When you are in a state of pursuit, the other person sees you as weak. When you stop and go cold, they start to project their own insecurities onto you. They begin to imagine that you found someone better, that you've realized your own worth, or that you've seen through their games. Your silence becomes a mirror reflecting their flaws. They start to ask themselves, what does he know that I don't, or who is she talking to now? Because you aren't giving them any information, their mind has to fill in the gaps. And the human mind, especially one fueled by ego, usually fills those gaps with its greatest fears. They fear being replaced. They fear being forgotten. This is the shadow work that Rank and Jung alluded to. By not reacting, you are forcing the other person to face their own shadow, the part of them that is lonely, the part of them that needs validation, the part of them that is afraid of rejection. You are no longer the one being rejected. By your silence, you are effectively rejecting their rejection of you. Think about a time someone ignored you. Didn't you eventually start to wonder if you were the problem? That shift, from, "I don't want them," to, "Wait, do they not want me?" is the most powerful psychological pivot in existence. It is the moment the hunter feels the cold wind of being hunted. You must understand that the power, in any interaction belongs to the person who is most comfortable with the end of it. By walking away and staying away, you are demonstrating that you are comfortable with the end. This terrifies people who use relationships as a way to bolster their identity. Your silence is a statement of self-sufficiency. It says, "I don't need your opinion of me to know who I am." When you stop trying to convince them of your value, they start to convince themselves. They look back at old messages, they remember the good times, and they start to rewrite the narrative in your favor. The more they look into the mirror of your absence, the more they see what they've lost. They don't see the annoying person who texted too much. They see the strong person who had the dignity to walk away. The narrative changes from, "I'm getting rid of them," to, "I've lost something I might never get back." 5. The ego rebound. Why they always come back when you've moved on. Have you ever noticed how an ex-partner or a cold friend always seems to reappear the moment you've finally stopped caring? It feels like magic, but it's actually biology. They can sense the shift in the energetic tether. As long as a part of you is still waiting for them, they feel full. The moment you truly let go, they feel the leak. We are all connected by subtle social and psychological cues. When you are obsessed with someone, you put out a vibe of desperation. You check their social media, you ask mutual friends about them, you think about them constantly. This creates a pressure that they can feel, even if you don't talk to them. It gives them a sense of safety. The second you truly move on, the second you start focusing on your own goals, meeting new people, or just enjoying your own company, that pressure vanishes. The umbilical cord of validation is cut. They suddenly feel hungry again. Their ego notices the lack of attention and demands a refill. This is why no contact only works if it is authentic. If you are just doing it to get them back, you are still tethered. You are still waiting. They can feel the waiting. But when you decide, "I am done whether they come back or not," that is when the real power shift occurs. That is when the ego rebound happens. They will reach out with something mundane. "Hey, I just saw a movie that reminded me of you." They are testing the tether. They want to see if they can still pull your strings. If you respond with a 500-word essay, you've just fed their ego for another 6 months, and they will disappear again. The key to handling the rebound is to remain as cold as the ice you've built. Short, polite, but completely detached responses. You are showing them that the person they used to control no longer exists. You have evolved. You have outgrown the version of yourself that needed them. Nothing creates obsession in another person like the realization that they no longer have access to you. They will try to claw their way back into your life, not because they've changed, but because they can't handle the fact that you changed first. You have reclaimed your identity from their hands. 6. Reinventing the identity, the power of the hidden self. When you are chasing someone, your identity is defined by them. You are the person who loves X, or the person waiting for Y. You have no hidden self. Your life is an open book, and frankly, it's a boring read. By withdrawing, you begin the process of reinventing your identity behind closed doors. Otto Rank argued that the greatest struggle for any human is to become an individual, to separate from the collective or the other. When you stop chasing, you are performing a radical act of individuation. You are reclaiming the pieces of yourself that you gave away to someone who didn't earn them. Start doing things they know nothing about. Join a gym they didn't suggest. Read books they've never heard of. Travel to places they don't associate with you. This creates a new version of you. When they eventually see you or hear about you, they won't recognize the person they rejected. There is a psychological phenomenon where we are more attracted to people who seem to have secrets or a life we aren't a part of. When you were chasing them, they knew everything about you. There was no room for curiosity. Now, by being invisible, you are building a secret life. This internal growth radiates outward. You carry yourself differently. Your voice changes. Your eyes lose the hunger of the seeker and take on the calm of the provider. People, not just the person you stopped chasing, but everyone, start to treat you with more respect. Identity is not static, it's a performance. If you perform the role of the rejected lover, that is all you will ever be. If you perform the role of the ascending individual, the world has no choice but to follow your lead. You are the director now, not a background actor. The goal isn't to show them how well you're doing. The goal is to actually be doing so well that you don't care if they see it. That is the ultimate hidden self. When your happiness is no longer a performance for their benefit, you have won the war for your own soul. 7. The scarcity principle, becoming the limited edition. Humans are wired to value what is rare and ignore what is abundant. If diamonds were as common as gravel, we wouldn't use them for engagement rings. By chasing, you have turned yourself into gravel. You are everywhere, you are easy to find, and you are stepped on without a second thought. By withdrawing, you are transitioning from gravel to diamond. You are signaling that your time, your affection, and your presence are limited edition assets. You are no longer available for casual disrespect. You are no longer on sale. In fact, you've been taken off the shelves entirely. Think about how you feel when you really want a product but it's sold out. You want it even more. You check the website every day. You look for resellers. The sold out sign is the most powerful marketing tool in the world. Your silence is your sold out sign. When they realize they can't just text you and get an immediate ego boost, your value in their mind triples. They start to romanticize the limited time they had with you. They forget the flaws and focus on the scarcity. This is a cognitive bias that you are using to your advantage. But this only works if you don't restock the shelves too early. If you go no contact for 3 days and then cave, you've just told them that your scarcity was a lie. You've told them that you're just a cheap knockoff trying to look like a luxury brand. Consistency is what builds the brand of you. Stay in the vault. Let the world wonder where you went. Let them feel the sold-out status for a long, uncomfortable period of time. The longer you stay away, the more premium you become. You are teaching them how to value you by demonstrating how much it costs to lose you. High-value people don't beg for a seat at the table, they build their own table and decide who is invited. By embracing scarcity, you are building that table. You are telling the world that your presence is a privilege, not a right. 8. Emotional escalation, the shift from relief to anxiety. As we discussed, the first stage of your absence is relief for the other person. They feel they've won. They feel they are in control. But relief is a short-lived emotion. It requires a problem to be relieved from. Once you are truly gone, there is no problem anymore, only a void. The second stage is curiosity. This is the "what are they up to" phase. They might check your social media or ask around. They are looking for signs that you are still miserable without them. If they find those signs, depressing posts, sad songs, they go back to feeling relief. If they find nothing, they move to stage 3. Stage 3 is anxiety. This is where the psychological inversion happens. The anxiety you used to feel about them, the "will they text back" feeling, is now being transferred to them. They start to feel the physical symptoms of loss. Their heart rate spikes when they see a notification, hoping it's you, and sinks when it isn't. This anxiety is the engine of action. People do not change when they are comfortable, they change when they are in pain. By staying away, you are allowing the pain of your absence to do the teaching. You are letting their own brain punish them for their lack of appreciation. Stage 4 is obsession. This is where they begin to rewrite history. They forget why they wanted space. They forget the arguments. They only remember the way you made them feel when you were there. They start to idealize you. You have become a ghost that haunts their everyday life. If you interrupt this process by reaching out, you reset the clock. You bring them right back to relief. You must let the escalation reach its peak. You must allow them to feel the full, unadulterated consequence of their choice to let you go. Only through that fire can a new, respectful dynamic be forged. Remember, you aren't doing this to them. They did this to themselves. You are simply refusing to be the person who stops the natural consequences of their actions. You are letting them live in the world they asked for, a world without you. And as it turns out, that world is much darker than they expected. 9. The breaking of the addiction, your internal freedom. Up until now, we've talked about how this affects them. But the most important part of this process is how it affects you. Chasing someone is an addiction. It's a loop of hope, rejection, pain, repeat. By stopping, you are going through withdrawal. The first few weeks will be brutal. You will want to check their last scene. You will want to accidentally run into them. You will convince yourself that one last talk will fix everything. This is your brain's limbic system screaming for a dopamine hit. Don't give in. Every day you don't reach out, you are rewiring your brain. You are breaking the apago, attachment, that Rank described as the enemy of the creative will. You are proving to yourself that you can survive without the external validation of a specific person. This is where true strength is born. As the addiction breaks, something beautiful happens. Your power of observation returns. When you are chasing, you are blind. You don't see their flaws, their disrespect, or their mediocrity. You only see the idea of them. Once you step back, the scales fall from your eyes. You start to see them for who they actually are, a flawed, perhaps selfish, and definitely replaceable human being. You realize that the power they had over you was actually your power that you were lending to them. You were the one who made them a god. And you can take that divinity back whenever you want. This internal freedom is the ultimate goal. Whether they come back or not becomes secondary to the fact that you no longer need them to come back. You have recovered your self. You have realized that you are the center of your own universe, and anyone else is just a guest. A person who doesn't need anyone is the most attractive person in the room. Why? Because they are the only ones who are truly free. When you reach this state, you aren't just not chasing, you are uncatchable. You have moved to a level of consciousness where the games of the ego no longer affect you. 10. The inversion of power, the final repositioning. We have reached the final stage. The inversion is complete. You started this process at the bottom, looking up, begging for a crumb of attention. By doing nothing, by being cold, consistent, and focused on your own evolution, you are now at the top, looking down. The other person has gone through the stages of relief, curiosity, anxiety, and obsession. They have likely tried to reach out. They have likely realized that you were the best thing that ever happened to them, mostly because you were the only thing they couldn't control. Now, you have the power of choice. You get to decide if they are even worth your time anymore. Most people find that by the time the other person crawls back, they don't even want them anymore. The limited edition version of you has outgrown the person who was comfortable losing you. This is the ultimate repositioning. You haven't just won the game, you've changed the game entirely. You've moved from a state of dependence to a state of independence. You have mastered the art of the invisible power, the power that comes from what you don't do. Otto Rank believed that the ultimate human achievement was to become the artist of one's own life. By refusing to be a victim of your emotions, you have sculpted a new reality. You have turned your pain into a strategic advantage. You have turned your rejection into a rebirth. Moving forward, never forget this lesson: the person who cares the least controls the dynamic. This doesn't mean you should be heartless, it means you should be heart-protected. Give your love to those who earn it, but keep your power for yourself. Never let anyone feel so comfortable in your presence that they forget what it's like to live in your absence. The world belongs to those who can stand alone. The moment you stop running after people is the moment they start walking toward you. It's a paradox of the human soul. Embrace it. Use it. And never, under any circumstances, lower your price again. The moment you stop running is the moment the game changes, even if you don't see the results yet. You have spent enough time being the one who waits, the one who hopes, and the one who tries. It hasn't worked because it can't work. Power doesn't respond to effort, it responds to posture. By choosing silence, you have chosen the most lethal weapon in the psychological arsenal. You are no longer a hunter or a prey, you are the prize that walked away. And in a world of people desperate to be seen, your invisibility is the only thing that will make you truly unforgettable.